Hello, Brigade.
Hello, I'm sorry. Am I live now?
Yes, no issues. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was a technical glitch. I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah. No problem. No problem. And welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Brigade.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Before
the
starting the
invitation.
session, I want to introduce you to our audience.
Excuse me? Can you repeat that, please?
Before starting the session, I want to introduce you to our audience, Brigade.
Yes, thank you.
Brigade is a transformational life coach, speaker, and founder of UP Frequency Coaching, dedicated to helping individuals who feel stuck or unfulfilled create meaningful change. With over 8 years of experience, she blends spiritual wisdom with practical tools to guide clients toward clarity, purpose, and inner freedom. She supports people in realizing outdated patterns and reconnecting with their personal power. Brigade is also the author of the Ascension Process, Living the New Paradigm, a guide to conscious and co-creative living. Known for her grounded, heart-centered approach, she empowers others to grow through fear and step confidently into their next chapter. That was truly an inspiring bio, Brigade, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Really appreciate this. All right. So, well, hello, beautiful souls. It is such a joy and an honor to be here with you today. Thank you so much for being here and for the invitation. And so I had prepared a little introduction, but obviously your introduction was amazing, and thank you for that. I will just add that my work is devoted to helping women reclaim their energy and shift their inner frequency to create and live a life that actually reflects who they truly are inside, from the inside out. And so, because here's what I know to be true. The outer reality we experience in our relationships, careers, and well being is shaped by the energy that we're carrying, the energy that we are. And so when we begin to shift our inner frequency, we begin to shift, when we shift our inner frequency from fear, exhaustion, invisibility to clarity, worthiness, and conscious choice, our life changes. Our life changes. And so I work with women all around the world who've achieved so much, a lot of achievement, and it all looks good on paper, but they still do not feel this fulfillment, as you just mentioned in the presentation. But these women are ready to feel deep fulfillment and deep alignment and be free to be who they truly, authentically are. So what you'll hear today is not just a talk, it is an invitation to pause, to check in, and maybe begin rewriting your story in a whole new frequency. Okay, so I want to begin by being really honest here. All right, so when I first received the invitation to speak at this conference, do you know what I thought? I thought, this may be a scam. Yes, even though it sounded amazing, my first instinct wasn't excitement, it was caution. And why is that? Why is that? Well, just a few months ago, I was actually scammed with my credit cards. But although everything's resolved and I was reimbursed, very lucky, all of that is past now. But that experience, changed something in my unconscious mind, and my antenna for danger has been on high alert since then. And so at the same time I got this invitation, a lot of people were asking me for my WhatsApp number, which is my phone number. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I'm being targeted. And at that time, I had to stop myself. And I had a moment, I said, wait a second. Wait, is this fear keeping me truly safe? Or is this fear holding me back? Right? And that moment became the seed of today's talk. Because this is something we all face. especially as women rising, because we've been taught for so long to be careful, to be polite, to play small, not take too much space, not voice anything. And in the process, women started doubting themselves, right? And continuously doubting themselves, doubting their intuition and their power. And I'm just going to advance my presentation here, the second slide. And so I want to share with you that I've known that kind of fear intimately, and not just in my professional decisions, but in the deepest parts of my life. And so there was a moment in my life where I truly didn't know if I would make it out. And, you know, on the outside, I had a job, I was functioning, I was showing up, but inside, I was unraveling. I had been living for years in a relationship that this emotional dynamic that slowly eroded my confidence. And I had to say that it destroyed my confidence. I felt like I was not really alive anymore, just going through the motions. And I was constantly afraid of the next burst of anger, afraid of upsetting, afraid of being too much or not enough. And even at work, I gave everything, every bit of effort, of heart, of dedication, and all the opportunities, you know, and the recognition, the opportunities I was working so hard to go towards, they were all refused to me. And, you know, I started to feel like nothing I did mattered, like I didn't matter. And, you know, eventually I stopped trying. And when I stopped trying, I stopped believing. And that is when my energy completely collapsed. My spirit dimmed and I fell into a deep, deep depression. And, you know, one night, and I'll never forget this moment and how it happened. You know, I was in my basement and I was journaling through the tears, bawling. And I could barely see what I was writing. I was crying so much. And I was writing about everything that was going wrong in my life, crying and barely breathing, a lot of anxiety. And, you know, I had to stop writing because I couldn't see what I was doing. And I felt so overwhelmed. Oh, I remember that. And I felt so defeated. And then a thought entered my mind. And that thought was, you know, what if there's nothing left for me? What if this is it? And that thought scared me because I had a child. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. It's a long time ago. But at that moment, when I realized the thought that I was having, and instead of spiraling further into the darkness, something miraculously happened. And it was a miracle, true miracle. And so I paused and I looked up and I asked myself, you know, how did it come to this? How is this my life? And something at that exact moment, something inside of me shifted. And I remembered a past version of me when I was young and I was looking at my life and I was saying, oh, my life is going to be great. And this older version of myself was standing in her power. And for a few seconds there, I was that person again. I wasn't this woman who was lost and in darkness. I was this person, other version of me that was looking at my life and was saying, this is going to be great. And that moment, when I became that older version of myself, I became full of possibility again. I believed for that second, those small seconds, I believed again. And that moment is when my healing began. Because I know that my soul reached through the pain and reminded me of who I truly was, who I truly am. And that moment, I knew that this phase that I was living had an end, and I could see the light and I could follow the light. And, you know, looking back now, I can see 3 soul lessons that changed everything for me, starting at that moment. And I want to share that with you because, you know, in case you too, maybe you are standing in a place where you know that something needs to change. Maybe you know that this is not what you want for yourself. And so the first soul lesson, let me check my presentation here. My story. I forget my presentation sometimes. All right, so the first soul lesson is fear feeds disconnection. Disconnection from you, from your power, from your higher self, your energy that forms you. But truth brings us home to ourselves. And so fear made me abandon myself. It convinced me to silence my voice, to stay small, to avoid conflict, to keep the peace at the cost of my own peace, of my own voice, of my own life. And that could be you, right? Maybe that's you. Maybe you felt like this. But truth, even when it's inconvenient, because it will shake things up, it is healing. It is healing. And it will bring you back into alignment with who you truly, deeply, soully are. And so ask yourself, where am I still playing by fear's rules? What truth have I been avoiding that actually wants to set me free? And so the second soul lesson, let me get this presentation. All right. Okay, so the second soul lesson is when life breaks you open, it's also pointing you back. So that breakdown moment in the basement that I had when I thought it was the end for me, it wasn't the end for me. It was my soul getting my attention in the only way it knew how, because I had strayed way too far. So sometimes, you know, the collapse, it's not a punishment. It's redirection. It's your inner being saying to yourself, you know, you've strayed too far from yourself. Come back. Come back home to your heart, to your body. Come back home. And so if you are in the dark right now, I want you to hear this. The tunnel is not endless. There is light, and you are not broken. You are becoming. You are working towards the next phase. And so the third soul lesson, let me check the presentation. All right. Third soul lesson. Freedom begins the moment that you choose you. That you choose you. The world didn't change for me at that moment when I realized that I could become and have a great life again. Nothing changed around me, but I did. I changed. The moment I chose to believe in myself again, to listen to the girl that I used to be, to the older version of me, you know, and I chose to let the light guide me. I chose to see the light, first of all. You know, that moment was the moment that I stepped into freedom. Because freedom it's not about everything is perfect around us. It's not about that. It's about living from our soul, not from fear. It's really about choosing you, your values, your voice, your vision over and over again. So it's about choosing you over and over again. That is freedom. And let's talk about fear for a second. I know we don't have a lot of time, so let's talk about fear for a second. Fear gets a bad reputation, obviously. But fear is not always an enemy. Fear is a program. It's a program wired into us to keep us safe. But the thing is with fear is that it's that it doesn't know the difference between a real threat, like a bear or a tiger running after me, so I need to move, or, so it doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a new opportunity, right? So fear shows up every time that we are about to do something expansive, get out of our comfort zone. And fear whispers, and I'm sure that you've heard this before, don't trust this. You're not ready. Who do you think you are? You're not competent enough. You don't have that training. Success is difficult. And if we listen to fear without questioning it, and that is important, without questioning it, we can end up playing small or end up in a really bad situation and relationship and not speaking up and losing our livelihood and happiness and energy, and stay stuck. We can end up living a life that doesn't reflect who we truly are. Because, here's what I've learned in many years of transformational coaching. So your energy tells your story before words ever do. Your energy. And that energy, that field around you is full of thoughts that you've repeated thousands of times. Thoughts. These are patterns, and okay, so patterns, we don't have a lot of time, so let's stay there. So full of emotions that were never fully processed. So thoughts that we've repeated thousands of times, and emotions that haven't already, that haven't been fully processed. So that's the heaviness, the emotional baggage. And that energy is also full of beliefs that we inherited from parents, society, our past experiences, and some things that we've seen, right? And so sometimes the fear that we feel, it's not ours. It's a voice we've absorbed in our unconscious mind. It's a protection mechanism passed down through generations sometimes, especially for women. And it's also sometimes outdated survival patterns that we've actually outgrown, but the program is still running in our unconscious mind. And I want you to hear this. The way to rise, to truly rise, is to reclaim your energy. So working on everything that isn't in your energy that you are carrying forward with you. Okay, so now let's do something simple together, just a moment to experience what I'm talking about. So if you want, play along and close your eyes. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. And just notice, is there a fear that I've been carrying lately? It might be subtle. Sometimes it's a voice that says, don't say anything. It's not safe. Or, and I've heard that one so many times, what if they reject you? What if they reject you? And so now ask yourself, is this mine? Does this fear belong to me? Or did I inherit it? Or did I just take it somewhere as mine? And then when you're ready, place a hand on your heart and take a slow and intentional breath again. And when you exhale, say out loud, I release what no longer belongs to me. I release what no longer belongs to me. And so even just a breath can begin to change your story, even just a breath. A breath is not just a breath. Breath is everything. And so let's go just a little bit deeper here. So with your eyes closed, bring to mind a version of yourself who feels free and authentic. So maybe so imagine that in your mind's eye. Maybe you're walking outside, shoulders back, eyes bright, looking forward. Maybe that version of you is speaking her truth with confidence, no longer worried what others will think. Or maybe she's simply waking up with joy, knowing her life is her own. So imagine that in your mind. What would that look like? And feel what that version of you is feeling. So what's different in her body? What's different in her frequency, the way that she moves through the world? And ask yourself, what does she know that I have forgotten? What would she tell me right now? And just notice what arises. No pressure, no judgment. Just be open to receiving. Even just becoming aware of this version of you is a step towards becoming that version. And so another deep breath, and you can open your eyes and come back. And I just want to say this, especially because this event is being shared around the world, right? And so no matter where we live, what language we speak, what roles that we play, whatever, so many of us as women have carried fear in our nervous system and silence in our throat for centuries. But the desire to rise, to reclaim our energy and speak our truth, that desire, it lives in all of us. And when one woman rises, and I have goosebumps talking about this, she lifts all others with her. And I've seen this shift happen over and over. I've seen women go from frozen by fear to lit up with clarity, right? And I've seen women, repeating the same old stories all the time, as I was as well. And I think we all do that to a certain point, repeating old stories. That's the way that unconscious works, right? To becoming a conscious co-creator of their life. And so I want to remind you once again that you are not broken. You are not behind. You are not late. You are powerful beyond measure, beyond measure. And you don't have to do this alone. If something stirred up in you today during this conference, even a whisper, that is your soul. It is your soul saying to you, it's time. It is time to rise and be who you came here to be, and be free to be that person that you came here to be. And so if you're ready to rise, let me just advance my presentation here. All right. And so if you're ready to rise, not from fear, but from freedom of recognizing yourself, I would love to stay connected. So on the screen, there's a QR code, and you can scan it and schedule a strategy call, and we can talk about what is possible for you from where you are and from what is calling you, your soul. Who are you to be here in this life? And so you can also drop your email in the chat, and I can send you a free resource. And I attached actually a resource here. If you can access it, it would be lovely. And so I want to thank you for receiving this message today. And let's rise together. I see you. I see you. All right, so if there are any questions, I'm open to questions. I hope I didn't go too fast or too slow. Okay, let me see here if there are any questions. Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Any questions? Oh, How has environmental sciences shaped your path as a transformation coach? That is a good question. I would have to connect the dots again and really think about that. But I know that from early on in my life, I knew I had a connection with energy. And I went to school and I have I have 4 university diplomas and I've had a really good career in the corporate and all sorts of different things. But I never really felt that fulfillment, even when I was working in the environmental field, because I wanted to solve problems. You know what I mean? I wanted to go to the root of things. And so I think that it was the only thing that I could think of to study that would fulfill me was the environmental sciences. And so I think that was just the continuity of my link to my awareness of energy and being able to shift energy. And I remember when I was young, I was like, oh my goodness, there's a child with their bike, they're going to come into the road and there's a big truck coming that way and nobody's seeing anybody. Now I see that from afar and everything's going to be okay. And everything's going to be okay. And it was. And so I think that's my answer to your question, Jennifer Crow. Thank you for your question. All right, did I go too long?
Yes, Brigitte, that was really an energetic talk. And we have one more question from our audience, Brigitte. How do you guide women to break free from autopilot and reconnect with their authentic selves?
How do I guide a woman to her authentic self?
Yeah.
Okay. So really it's a one-on-one connection. It's a one-on-one connection. And first of all, I encourage the people I work with to use their faculties. So their I don't know if that's the right word, but their talents. So what we do is we get silent. We get silent and we go inside. And then we do the work of the imagination, a little bit like I did in this session, right? So imagine the version of yourself with this. What would that look like for you? So what we're doing there is we're going inside of the person. The person is going inside of themselves, finding that calling and bringing it forth. And this is how we do the work. This is how we find our authenticity. This is how we find who we are meant to be. And sometimes, and from my own experience, and I know that from other women I've worked with as well, not everyone, but some, all the things that we are living in our lives bring us to finding this authenticity, because all the experiences we live are really necessary for some learning lessons and living some karma energy as well, right? And so we're learning all the domestic violence situation I was in before, when I lost myself completely. I'm completely different from today from then, because that was a lesson and I understood, oh, this is how you lose confidence. Oh, this is how this happens. Okay, now I know. And so I don't know, did I answer the question? I think I'm going on and on and on. Is there any other question?
Thank you so much for your answer. Our audience got your answer. And thank you so much for your valuable time, Brigitte.
Thank you so much to you as well. And you can connect with me at Up Frequency Coaching. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn, Brigitte St. Jean.
Sure. And thank you so much. And
thank you.
Please stay on the backstage and join in the next session.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.